Subscribe to the MTL World at Malworld 1 YouTube channel. Novel, The Primordial Law. Volume 6, Battle for the True Inheritance. Chapter 105, 646, Holy Hall's Life Realm. 105th of Volume 6. Translator, Shadow Knight AK. Editor, Shadow Knight AK. The demon ministers, Ku Chao Seng, and Wenren Midao, along with the blood demon patriarch, were all top-tier transcendents, each commanding vast power and leading clans teeming with formidable experts. They wielded supreme authority, their officials, disciples, and affiliated forces permeating the demon kingdom and extending across various life realms. Any one of them could mobilize enough experts, armies, and resources to independently conquer a life realm. Most life realm lords were their subordinates, required to pay tribute and curry favor. Yet these three formidable figures, united in purpose, had suffered a crushing defeat. Mo Duanfeng, who had witnessed the battle firsthand from within the Wither Flourish zone, remained shaken long after. Li Wei, Tang Wanzhou, and Nangong arrived 2 days after the battle's conclusion. In the small nether domain housing the Demon Kingdom altar, the ground was littered with ragged, shackled members of the sinful clans, prepared for sacrifice. Their eyes were either vacant or filled with confusion. The altar remained intact, devoid of the jubilant relief of survivors. Trapped within the nether realm of the dead, confined to the Wither Flourish zone, escape was impossible, and death remained inevitable. Li Wei gazed at the tens of thousands of humans before him, huddled together like a flock of sheep, their bodies pressed close to share warmth against the bitter cold. Most were on the verge of starvation. Clang! Mo Duanfeng relentlessly swung his blade, cleaving through the shackles binding them. Li Wei, Tang Wanzhou, and Nangong distributed all the food from their cosmic pouches. Seeing the three of them arrive, Mo Duanfeng sheathed his sword and approached, his face drenched in sweat, his arms trembling slightly. The elders of the Void Ruins ancient clan have already dispatched for food, he said, it should arrive soon. The world is full of troubles, and I've always avoided getting involved, fearing endless complications. But I can't turn a blind eye to these lives hanging in the balance, to the suffering of the weak and helpless right before my eyes. Lao Mo, why are your hands shaking? Li Wei asked. Mo Duanfeng chuckled bitterly. If you swung a sword non-stop for 2 days, you'd be shaking worse than me. Even clashing with Ji Junxiang didn't make my hands tremble like this. The three were deeply moved. Tang Wanzhou asked, where's Ji Junxiang? He escaped before the Void Ruins ancient clan elder arrived, using a high-grade cosmic pouch to take most of the altar's garrison with him, Mo Duanfeng said, his eyes filled with admiration and praise, showing no regret that his opponent had fled. Li Wei asked, did you clash? What was the outcome? How to put it? This man possesses extraordinary intellect, almost demonic. As soon as the battle erupted outside the Wither Flourish zone, he deduced that the Void Ruins ancient clan would send reinforcements and immediately chose to withdraw, Mo Duanfeng explained. Li Wei nodded. A number 1 scholar should possess such foresight. The outbreak of battle meant the Void Ruins ancient clan no longer needed to conceal their presence and could openly eliminate all enemies within the Void Ruins ancient kingdom. Ji Junxiang's escape is a testament to his capabilities. Mo Duanfeng agreed. Exactly. He was focused on retreat, not on fighting me to the death. I unleashed the first 6 slashes of my 7 severing wind slashes, but he neutralized them all. Before I could unleash the 7th slash, he vanished, challenging me to a duel next year at the Xiaoyao capital's imperial ranking competition. He neutralized the Wind Mansion Emperor's blade unscathed. Tang Wanzhou was incredulous. Everyone present knew the terrifying power of the Wind Mansion Emperor's blade. It had not only shattered Chu Yudian's Tai Yin battle soul with a single strike but had also severed the blood pool Silver Sea. Few martial mystic cultivators at the same cultivation stage could survive such a blow. Now that Mo Duanfeng had reached the 4th immortal realm, the blade's power had undoubtedly reached unimaginable heights. Mo Duanfeng nodded. The Wind Mansion Emperor's blade is the 6th slash of the 7 severing wind slashes. In an instant, it drains all the spiritual chi from the Wind Mansion, unleashing its most devastating strike. The preceding 5 slashes each draw spiritual chi from the 5 seas. The 7th slash, the Ancestral Field Immortal Blade, I comprehended and mastered within the Chun cocoon after breaking through to the 4th immortal realm. Once unleashed, it drains all the Ancestral Field Chi, leaving either the enemy dead or me slain. Even Li Wei and Tang Wanzhou, with their exceptional martial mystic Dao talent, exchanged stunned glances. They had never imagined Mo Duanfeng's 7th slash could be so overwhelmingly destructive. If it truly possessed such terrifying power, even the peerless Ji Junxiang might struggle to withstand it. This 7th slash can't be easy to execute, right? Tang Wanzhou asked, fully aware of the implications of draining all the ancestral field chi in a single strike. Mo Duanfeng chuckled without answering. Tang Wanzhou, you'll catch up soon enough and become the greatest rival to me, Ji Junxiang, Shenji, and the others. I wouldn't dare reveal my true strength to you. But brother Wei, you've been hiding your capabilities remarkably well. Why are you turning the attention back to me? Li Wei asked. Mo Duanfeng replied solemnly, the Grand Palace Master's appearance and her attack on the Demon Kingdom's forces speaks volumes. I've been pondering this for 2 days, yet I still can't fathom how the Void Ruins ancient clan managed to persuade her to act. Furthermore, could you two tell me if the Lingxiao realm truly harbors 10 Demon Lord level powerhouses? The 4 of them approached the Wither Flourish zone. They channeled spiritual chi into their eyes, peering through the gray-white curse of time mist. Through the dense fog, they glimpsed the ravaged landscape beyond. The glazed flames, burning for 2 days, still raged, transforming the area into a fiery wasteland crisscrossed by rivers of molten lava. The ground was littered with armor and corpses, shattered spears and tattered banners. The earth was cracked and mountains had collapsed, creating an apocalyptic scene. One could only imagine the sheer scale of the battle that had unfolded 2 days prior. Li Wei asked, Lao Mo, why are you so curious about all this? First, the Lingxiao realm is extremely remote and isolated, with virtually no contact with the outside world. Please forgive my ignorance. Before, I had only heard of the Grand Palace Master's renowned reputation and vaguely knew that 3 female Palace Masters ruled a life realm. 2 days ago, I heard the Grand Palace Master's earth-shattering sacred voice, as if it descended from the heaven. Mo Duanfeng spoke with deep reverence, then imitated Yu Yaozi's tone, raising his voice, Wenren Midao, how dare you act so presumptuously before this Palace Master? The Lingxiao realm could produce 10 transcendents of your level. Consider that even in the colossal demon kingdom, there likely wouldn't be more than 10 transcendents of Wenren Midao's level, and certainly not many more. If a small realm like the Lingxiao realm could produce 10 such figures, how could Mo Duanfeng not be astonished? Li Wei silently calculated. Zhenhai Guanwu, the Grand Palace Master, the Third Palace Master, the West Sea King, Zuoqiu Xuanming, Tang Shituo, Patriarch Zhu, the sect leader of the Thundercloud sect. These were undoubtedly top-tier transcendents, but whether they could all reach the level of demon lords remained uncertain. The Grand Palace Master was merely intimidating her enemies, Li Wei said, 10 is an exaggeration. 5, perhaps. 5 is probably more accurate. Tang Wanzhou said, Lao Mo, the Lingxiao realm stands alone at the southernmost tip of Yingzhou, yet it hasn't been swallowed by the nether realm of the dead or the demon race. Don't you think that in itself is a testament to its strength? Mo Duanfeng fell into deep thought, then nodded earnestly. A sense of awe toward that mysterious life realm isolated at Yingzhou's southernmost edge began to stir within him. Suddenly, Li Wei had an insight. Outside the Void Ruins ancient kingdom, the Grand Palace Master must act swiftly to prevent powerhouses from the ancient Yi City, 7 vengeful plains, and other nether realms from intervening. The Holy Hall's life realm is likely where the true final battle will take place. Li Wei's mind conjured the image of Zhenhai Guanwu. He wondered if she was already there. After the Void Ruins ancient clan elder arrived, the 4 immediately set off for Chun City, intending to use the space teleportation formation to reach the Holy Hall's life realm. They had barely left when. Boom. Rumble. Beyond the Wither Flourish zone, on the vast, boundless dark earth, a surging tide of corpse energy erupted. A colossal giant, taller than a mountain, emerged from the corpse energy, clad in a wide, Dao-patterned purple robe. His facial features were decayed, and long hair cascaded down his cheeks like a luminous immortal waterfall. The bone-chilling corpse energy radiating from his body enveloped thousands of miles, extinguishing the glazed flames that still burned across the shattered battlefield. He murmured, Huang Yuyao. Even the Yin Buddha Laos couldn't suppress her. It seems she's just a step away from becoming an emperor psychic master. Boom. The giant spirit corpse king swung his arm, unleashing a rusty battle sword in a simple, unadorned strike that slammed into the Wither Flourish zone. The moment the sword touched the zone, the Void Ruins Empress materialized within the gray-white mist, towering several times larger than him, as if she had grown to fill the cosmos itself. Cracks spider webbed across the surrounding space. The giant spirit corpse king immediately retreated to evade the backlash of the curse of time. Can already evade it, he observed, it seems the curse has indeed weakened significantly. Throughout Yingzhou, both in the life realms and the nether realm of the dead, ancient boundary markers have been unearthed. These markers are all named after Zhou provinces. Martial mystic Dao Heavenly Emperor have analyzed them and theorized that before the nether realm enveloped the world, Yingzhou was once a glorious kingdom that divided the land into provinces, each governed separately. The Holy Hall's life realm, located in southern Yingzhou, ranks 15th among the 58 medium-sized life realms in the region. Its population is estimated at over 2 billion, occupying 80 provinces. The Void Ruins ancient clan holds the greatest power, residing in seclusion within the mountains of the life realm's western region. They dispatch only a portion of their clan to form the Holy Hall, which serves as the life realm's imperial court, co-governing the world alongside the 3 ancient sects and 7 ancient myriad sects. Precisely because the Holy Hall's life realm is so powerful and populous, even the Demon Kingdom approaches war with extreme caution, requiring irrefutable evidence before taking action. The Void Ruins ancient clan's ancestral mountain remains isolated from the world. 4 heaven law earth springs float in the sky, while 3 others lie within mountain valleys. Year-round, spiritual chi cloud mist drifts through the air, nurturing over 1,000 types of precious and essence herbs. Rare spiritual fruit trees and strange beasts roam freely throughout the area. Streams of spiritual spring water flow through the valleys, and cliffs glow with ethereal light. A cluster of majestic buildings, pavilions, towers, palaces, and vermilion-walled plazas stood above the heaven law earth spring valley, radiating grandeur and splendor. Li Wei, Tang Wanzhou, and Mo Duanfeng were staying here as guests, sitting in an octagonal pavilion perched on a cliff, sipping wine and watching the endless stream of young martial mystic cultivators rushing into the valley below to cultivate. Each cultivator was brimming with vitality and possessed formidable cultivation, none below the Dao Seed realm. Mo Duanfeng remarked, having controlled the resources of the Void Ruins ancient kingdom for a century, the Void Ruins ancient clan has clearly cultivated a vast number of young prodigies. Such vibrant and flourishing energy is rarely seen even in the holy capital. But it was precisely their desperate rush to cultivate these young talents that led to the information leak. Tang Wanzhou countered, the Void Ruins ancient clan may be the foremost power in the Holy Hall's life realm, but they are not the only major force. Had the Grand Palace Master and the Lingxiao Imperial Court not intervened, they would never have weathered this crisis. Every act of assistance comes with a price, Mo Duanfeng said meaningfully, turning to Li Wei, Brother Wei, even now, are you still going to keep us in the dark? Your reckless efforts in the Void Ruins ancient kingdom, were they for Nangong? Or was it an order from the Grand Palace Master? What grand scheme is she orchestrating that has even alarmed the Holy Emperor? Blank. End of chapter. Subscribe to the MTL World at Malworld 1 YouTube channel. Novel. The Primordial Law. Volume 6. Battle for the True Inheritance. Chapter 106, 647 Paying Respects to the Grand Palace Master. 106th of Volume 6. Translator. Shadow Knight AK. Editor. Shadow Knight AK. Yu Yaozi, the clan chief of the Void Ruins ancient clan, and Lu Tianqian had arrived in the holy capital, a fact the 3 of them had learned from eavesdropping on the Void Ruins ancient clan's disciples. They also discovered that Zhuo Tianqing, the Holy Dynasty's prime minister, had led dozens of life realm lords to pay homage to demon lord Eubaxian. Even the Holy Emperor had made a divine appearance in the carefree capital. With such a formidable display of force pressuring the demon monarch, could their objective truly be as simple as rescuing the Void Ruins ancient clan? Mo Duanfeng knew there must be immense stakes involved. Li Wei chuckled. To put it plainly, the Grand Palace Master intends to rebuild Lingxiao Palace in the Void Ruins ancient kingdom, transforming it back into a glorious living realm. Our deputy Sentinel Lord, likely representing the Rainforest Realm, has also entered the game. Heavens! You're quite the secret keeper. Even Mo Duanfeng and Tang Wanzhou were stunned into exclamations. Tang Wanzhou then fell into deep contemplation. Now that the Grand Palace Master and the Imperial Court had withdrawn from the Lingxiao life realm, the Zhuoqiu clan and Calamity Crossing Temple no longer had any reason to hold back. Would they seize this opportunity to ignite a war? Nangong, dressed in palace robes, her face veiled and hair styled into an elegant bun, her wrist adorned with a palace tassel, radiated a luminous aura like an immortal descending to the mortal realm. From afar, she called out, Brother Mo, someone wishes to visit you. Who? Mo Duanfeng asked. The heavens chosen who have achieved the new first rank in the Holy Hall life realm, Nangong replied. Mo Duanfeng immediately lost interest. Isn't the heavens chosen of the Holy Hall life realm's new first rank you? The foremost among their generation in a living realm is known as the Child of Heavens Chosen, also referred to as the Life Realm Heavens Chosen. Merely being first wasn't enough. One had to be the undisputed first, far surpassing the second and third ranks. Nangong entered the pavilion, trailing a faint, ethereal fragrance. Don't flatter me so. I acknowledge my position as the new first rank in the Holy Hall Life Realm, but I'm still far from deserving the title of Life Realm Heavens Chosen. Only the Holy Commander and Li Wei truly qualify for such a claim. In the Jiazi cycle leading up to the release of the Eternal Life Earthly ranking, the true disciples of the ancient sects and the Heavenly Emperor's disciples commanded the greatest prestige. Yet southern Yingzhou was vast, encompassing 172 living realms, a myriad of sects and races, and tens of thousands of sects scattered across the land. At each ranking ceremony, extraordinary talents would emerge, surpassing the true disciples and Heavenly Emperor's disciples to achieve overnight fame. Some even dared to challenge the chief scribe of the 10,000-mile Towers Earth ranking. These individuals were hailed by onlookers as the Heaven's Chosen Child of their respective living realms, giving rise to the term Life Realm Heaven's Mandate. As they spoke, the seventh-generation descendant of the Holy Hall's Holy Lord, leading the true disciples of the three ancient sects and the most exceptional immortal realm prodigies from the seven ancient myriad sects, arrived at the gate. Though uninvited, they maintained an air of humility and restraint, bowing in unison outside the gate. Having heard that the foremost young expert of the holy capital resides on the ancestral mountain of time, we have come to pay our respects. I have long admired the wind-severing blade of the sacred capital inner palace. Xiao Yu, true disciple of the pure void Qing Shu sect, humbly requests Brother Mo's guidance. Su Yuyan, true disciple of the four sovereigns Si Yu sect. Yun Sheng, true disciple of the beast sect. Now even the current senior brother and senior sister of the ancient sects dare to call themselves true disciples. Mo Duanfeng remarked coolly. Nangong frowned deeply. They likely just want Brother Mo's guidance in martial mystic cultivation, not a challenge. Nangong, you brought them here. I'll handle them. Wait, Li Wei called out, why have the young disciples from the three ancient sects and the 7-10 ancient myriad sects all gathered at the ancestral mountain of time? Worry filled Nangong's eyes. The demon kingdom's forces have been temporarily pushed back. But the nether realm of the dead is frantically amassing troops. Ghost kings, corpse kings, and bone kings are frequently appearing at the borders, and a major battle is imminent. All the transcendent figures from the Holy Hall Life Realm's major powers have come to the ancestral mountain to discuss countermeasures. The younger generation of immortal realm cultivators accompanied their elders. Has the Grand Palace Master returned? Li Wei asked. The Grand Palace Master is a figure beyond my comprehension, Nangong replied, shaking her head slightly. Seeing Li Wei had no further questions, she turned to leave. Mo Duanfeng suddenly said, let them in. I want to see what caliber of talent the Holy Hall Life Realm's top young immortal realm martial mystic cultivators truly possess. Li Wei and Tang Wanzhou quickly withdrew, eager to avoid the spectacle. Mo Duanfeng's reputation far surpassed theirs. News of the Void Ruins ancient kingdom had yet to spread. Li Wei's only notable achievement was defeating Sheng Wulian of the Dao Seed realm, while Tang Wanzhou's was assassinating Qin Zhengyang, the Noon envoy. Given the innate talent and arrogance of the ancient myriad sect's true disciples, they would never acknowledge anyone's superiority without a proper fight. Even if news of the Void Ruins ancient kingdom were to surface, Li Wei's reputation would struggle to reach the heights of Jiyu Junxiang, Mo Duanfeng, or Shenji. Only if he had single-handedly slain Chu Yutian could he hope to ascend to that level. Under the scorching summer sun, Li Wei and Tang Wanzhou walked side by side down the mountain path. The events unfolding here are beyond our involvement. I plan to return to Cave Void Camp and cultivate my psychic power using the heavenly fire world to break through the immortal shackle. What about you? Li Wei asked. Tang Wanzhou replied, I need to return to the Lingxiao life realm first. Li Wei recalled ancestor Qin Yuan's corpse in the blood mud space, then thought of the hidden lord, senior sister, and others far away with the Zhu tribe. Suddenly, he too felt the urge to return. Whoosh! A figure enveloped in spiritual light approached from the distance, arriving in an instant and stopping before Li Wei and Tang Wanzhou. It was Taishi Qingxi, the former minister of the Imperial Temple of the Lingxiao Life Realm, a great holy spiritual master, and the grand historian. He was Taishi Yu's father, appearing to be in his 40s, with a lean face, though his true age was over 2 centuries. Li Wei, who considered Taishi Yu and Taishi by his brothers and regarded himself as their junior, bowed respectfully. Greetings, Lord Taishi. Taishi Qingxi was one of the few who knew about Li Wei's situation in the Zhenhai Guanwu. Li Wei's bow made his heart skip a beat. But having long held high office, Taishi Qingxi possessed extraordinary composure. He maintained his composure and said warmly, come with me. The Grand Palace Master wishes to see you. Taishi Qingxi glanced briefly at Tang Wanzhou without further comment before leading the way. Soon, Taishi Qingxi and Li Wei arrived before the magnificent golden tiled gates of a grand hall. They stopped, and Taishi Qingxi announced, Grand Palace Master, Li Wei has arrived. Enter, Yu Yaozi's voice rang out, cold and clear. Inside the hall, the floor was paved with black jade, supported by 16 golden pillars. A pool and draped curtains adorned the space, along with palace lanterns and a massive cauldron. The Void Ruins ancient clan had arranged this residence for the Grand Palace Master with meticulous care, ensuring it befitting her status. Duke Taishi, his hair thinning and his body frail with age, sat in a seat to the right of the hall. From the moment Li Wei entered, he strained his wrinkled eyes, scrutinizing the young man with repeated, careful glances. He knew the secret of Li Wei's marriage to the Mist Master. But without her permission, he dared not reveal it to anyone, not even the Grand Palace Master or the Third Palace Master. Noticing his gaze, Li Wei turned to look at him. Duke Taishi nodded gently, a faint smile on his face. Li Wei had never met Duke Taishi before, but anyone seated opposite the Third Palace Master must be a transcendent of Lingxiao Palace. Half of Lingxiao Palace's transcendent had already fallen, and with the Zhang clan's transcendent having departed and Cao Caishan being a direct descendant of the second palace master, deducing Duke Taishi's identity was no difficult task. Junior Li Wei pays his respects to the third palace master and Lord Taishi. Li Wei bowed to each in turn. Duke Taishi waved a trembling hand, his voice hoarse. Young man, no need for such formalities. The third palace master, dressed in vibrant robes with her hair piled high in an elaborate bun, regarded Li Wei with keen interest. She smiled warmly. Little fellow, you're quite remarkable. That night at Six Thoughts Zen Monastery, when you defeated the Heavens Chosen of the Sacred Dark Family, this palace master recognized your potential. But I never imagined that in just a few years, you would have already revealed such dazzling brilliance, truly making one's eyes light up. Li Wei replied, it's all thanks to the nether domain and the Chun silkworm. In truth, this junior has been cultivating for many years. Your cultivation is rather peculiar. Are you in the second immortal realm or the third immortal realm? The third palace master asked, his profound psychic power detecting something amiss. The grand palace master's voice echoed from behind the curtain, shattering the third palace master's probing spiritual light directed at Li Wei. You performed admirably in the Void Ruins Ancient Kingdom. As my Dao technique successor, you have not disgraced my reputation. Come forward, I have another task for you. Li Wei stepped behind the curtain and saw Yu Yaozi standing upright above him. She appeared to have fully regained her youth, resembling an 18 or 19-year-old celestial fairy, yet she carried the regal bearing of a 3,000-year-old heavenly emperor. Her gaze was as sharp as a sword, yet as deep as the boundless sea. Below her, the man stared intently, his eyes filled with complex emotions. Had anyone else dared such audacity, Yu Yaozi would have unleashed her overwhelming aura to force them into submission. She turned away, glancing sideways. They can't hear us here. You've managed to conceal your true cultivation realm from immortal realm martial mystic cultivators, but it can't deceive a powerhouse like the third palace master. If you wish to conceal your true cultivation level, I can help you. With my assistance, your innate talent would be considered on par with Tang Wanzhou and Jiyu Junxiang. Alternatively, if you prefer to reveal your full potential and not hide your cultivation, I can also assist you. Protecting you until you reach the transcendent realm would be no problem. Of course, this path would expose you to far greater dangers and challenges. This world operates under both explicit laws and hidden rules. Which path do you choose? Li Wei didn't answer her directly. Instead, he asked anxiously, will I ever see you again? He had wanted to ask this question since the moment he entered. After a long silence, Yu Yaozi's gaze drifted to a palace lantern hanging from a golden pillar. She murmured softly, to fully refine the cursed monster, I must return to the heavenly fire world. Li Wei closed his eyes and exhaled deeply. A flood of memories of his time with Yuer surged through his mind. Her tears of fear, her constant refrain of, Master, you're amazing. You're the best master in the world, teaching her to write and keep a daily journal, carrying her as they fled across the land, her preparing meals and waiting for him to return home each day. Too many memories to count. Li Wei clasped his hands in a respectful bow, lowering his head deeply. I know the Grand Palace Master holds a position of great honor and is one of the most supremely cultivated individuals in the world. Yet, I have a humble request. Before the Grand Palace Master fully refines the cursed monster, could you allow me one last meeting with Yuer? I want to bid her a proper farewell. There are so many things I never had the chance to tell her. Even just sharing one last meal would be enough. For some reason, Li Wei's voice choked with emotion, making it impossible for him to continue. He had never imagined he would fear losing Yuer so deeply. It wasn't until he saw Yu Yaozi almost fully restored that the realization struck him like a thunderclap. The most painful moment isn't when you've already lost something, but when you're about to lose it, knowing you can't hold on. Blank. End of chapter. Subscribe to the MTL World at Malworld 1 YouTube channel. Novel. The Primordial Law. Volume 6. Battle for the True Inheritance. Chapter 107, 648, Sentinel Lord of the Cave Void Camp. 107th of Volume 6. Translator. Shadow Knight AK. Editor. Shadow Knight AK. Very well. Yu Yaozi fell into deep thought. Memories of youth are always both hazy and vivid. No matter how far one travels down life's path, the pure self of those early days remains etched in memory, adorned with all the beauty of that time. Thank you, Li Wei said, averting his gaze to calm his inner turmoil. He knew Yu Yaozi could never truly be Yuer. After a long silence, Yu Yaozi broke the silence first, pulling herself out of her reverie. The situation in the Holy Hall's life realm is complex. The clan chief of the Void Ruins Ancient Clan and the Holy Master of the Holy Hall have both reached the pinnacle of cultivation, and the three ancient sects are also formidable. Moreover, the Rainforest Living Realm faces immense survival pressure due to the resurgence of the ancient immortal dragon vein of the East Sea. As the life realm closest to the Void Ruins Ancient Kingdom, it will likely become a third force in the conflict. In terms of transcendence and immortal realm martial mystic cultivators, the Lingxiao Palace currently lags far behind the other two factions. This initial period is crucial for establishing our dominance, even complete control, once the life realm opens. Otherwise, we'll face endless troubles later on. Li Wei understood immediately. The Grand Palace Master is worried that once the crisis is resolved, the Void Ruins ancient clan and the three great ancient sects will turn against us. She fears that the Rainforest Living Realm, leveraging its strategic location, will funnel vast resources and people into the Void Ruins ancient kingdom, rapidly expand its territory, and seize control of the nether domains, mineral veins, fertile lands, heaven law earth springs, and other resource-rich areas. It's not a fear, but a certainty. Sharing hardship is easy, sharing prosperity is far more difficult, Yu Yaozi replied. She continued, I can suppress the transcendence with my cultivation, but I cannot silence public opinion, quell the rising tide of resentment from below, or withstand the external pressures from all sides. Therefore, we must use methods to make them realize that the Lingxiao Palace is indispensable. Li Wei's expression hardened. Does the Grand Palace Master intend to unleash the army of the dead into the Holy Hall's life realm? This is no wise move. It contradicts our original purpose of establishing the 3,000 provinces kingdom, driving out the nether realm of the dead, and restoring peace to the world. I cannot support this. Methods are acceptable, but they must have limits. Do you think this palace master is such a person? Yu Yaozi glanced sideways at him. Li Wei fell silent, deep in thought. Yu Yaozi would never reveal such a decision if she truly intended to carry it out, nor would she have any reason to inform him. She said, first, the army of the dead will inevitably invade, making a fierce battle unavoidable. Even if all three factions unite their full strength, whether we can withstand them remains uncertain. If we fail, everything will be lost. Second, regarding the Void Ruins ancient kingdom, the demon kingdom has only been temporarily repelled. Yu Baxian will not give up easily. The second battlefield in the nether realm of the dead is likely located there as well, and they will undoubtedly attempt to breach the Wither Flourish zone. What we need to do is send transcendence into the Void Ruins ancient kingdom. With the Wither Flourish zone, a single transcendent can hold off the martial mystic Dao Heavenly Emperor. A single transcendent can also suppress all the factions within. This is the most effective strategy, one that only the Lingxiao Palace can execute. Li Wei suddenly understood and smiled. Transcendents can also infiltrate the 10,000 burial zones and temporal anomaly zones to search for supreme artifacts and other treasures left behind from 20,000 years ago, as well as harvest emperor herbs. The ancient armor and spiritual artifact battle weapons scattered across the battlefields are forged from rare metals. If melted down, they could be used to produce standardized armor and weapons for millions of 5C's realm soldiers, enough to sweep across the world. Have the Grand Palace Master met the Mist Emperor? Yu Yaozi gently shook her head. I am not considering her for now. Duke Taishi and the Third Palace Master can begin constructing the space teleportation formation. I'll attempt the final inscriptions. Li Wei hid his disappointment, then understood Yu Yaozi's intentions. He realized why the esteemed Heavenly Emperor would consult a immortal realm martial mystic cultivator like himself on such a critical matter. If the Grand Palace Master intends to use the blood mud space to transport them, I have conditions, he said. State them, Yu Yaozi replied. Li Wei respected her cultivation and age, refraining from presuming the role of master. She reciprocated with equal respect, treating him not as a mere junior to be manipulated. This mutual trust stemmed from their shared respect. First, they must never learn of the Dao ancestors' Tai Chi fish, Li Wei said. Naturally, Yu Yaozi replied, I'll store them in the ancestral field and personally accompany you to the Void Ruins ancient kingdom. Second, I want a share of any resources the Transcendents find, especially Millennium Essence herbs, Li Wei said. Yu Yaozi rolled her eyes at him. Regardless of what decision the Mist Master makes upon her return, you will be the next master of Lingxiao Palace after me. We are destined to establish the most magnificent kingdom on the Yingzhou continent, sweeping away the Nether Realm, launching a northern expedition to realize our grand ambitions, and ultimately challenging the martial mystic Dao Heavenly Emperor and ascending to the martial mystic Dao Heavenly Emperor realm. Stop fixating on these petty gains. Li Wei knew she was just making empty promises. Grand Palace Master, isn't your pursuit of grand ambitions also driven by the vast resources needed to cultivate to the martial mystic Dao Heavenly Emperor realm? If we can break through the nether realm surrounding Cave Ruins Ghost City, the resources we obtain will surely help you ascend to martial mystic Dao Heavenly Emperor realm. Yu Yaozi looked at him with surprise, not expecting him to see through her so clearly. Of course, you'll get your share of the resources. Only then did Li Wei smile contentedly. He then produced a paper inscribed with the Divine Sword Talisman. May I ask, Grand Palace Master, is this truly the Divine Sword Talisman? Of course. It's not just a Divine Sword Talisman, but something far more profound. Yu Yaozi's expression turned solemn. The ability to solve problems independently is a sign of competence. The ability to evade powerful enemies is also a sign of competence. The wisdom to restrain oneself and avoid provoking enemies beyond one's capabilities is rationality. The true measure of intelligence lies in always knowing oneself. But having a life-saving law ensures a safety net for any unforeseen circumstances. You did well in the Void Ruins Ancient Kingdom this time. For the next period, Li Wei traveled with Yu Yaozi, using Heaven-grade and Earth-grade realm pouches to transport the Third Palace Master, Duke Taishi, and a large number of the Imperial Court's martial mystic Dao experts ahead of them into the Void Ruins Ancient Kingdom. Before departing, Yu Yaozi borrowed the Book of Radiant Stars to dispel the darkness within the Void Ruins Ancient Kingdom and restore daylight, claiming she would later give him all the books of Radiant Stars seized from the East Sea Rice Realm for his comprehension. In short, more empty promises. However, the Grand Palace Master offered a tangible benefit, a gourd filled with glazed spiritual light flame from her spirit realm, to help Li Wei perfect the fifth layer of the sixfold samsara burning karma technique, the glazed pure flame. By the time Li Wei returned to the Holy Hall's life realm, a month had passed. Mo Duanfeng and Tang Wanzhou had already left, returning to the Holy Dynasty and Cave Void Camp, respectively. Cave Void Camp Teleportation Hall. Whoosh. As the teleportation formation's radiance flared, Li Wei's figure materialized at its center. Yu He, the guard of the teleportation hall, glanced at him with an unprecedented expression, yet his tone remained as impersonal as ever. Inspect your cosmic pouch, face the levitating mirror, leave a drop of blood. The Sentinel Lord awaits you in the camp hall. The Sentinel Lord. Not the Deputy Sentinel Lord. Li Wei was quite curious about the Cave Void Camp's Sentinel Lord, who had never shown his face. After completing all identity checks, he immediately hurried toward the summit of Spirit Mountain, where the camp hall stood. Every sentinel and sentinel spirit he encountered along the way greeted him with solemn respect, bowing deeply. Their eyes, filled with reverence, excitement, and admiration, were completely different from before. It was no exaggeration to say that some young female sentinels blushed instantly when their gazes met his, unable to conceal their shyness. Even Tong Yangzu, who had ranked fourth among the new recruits, actively approached him outside the camp hall to bow and strike up a conversation, her respectful demeanor tinged with admiration. The gap between them had widened significantly. In essence, Li Wei now enjoyed the same level of treatment in the Cave Void Camp as Jiyu Junxiang and Wenren Tinghai did among the younger generation in Xiaoyao capital. After stating his identity and purpose, Li Wei was led by a member of the spiritual pivot group to meet the Sentinel Lord of the Cave Void Camp. Master Zhuang. Li Wei exclaimed in surprise. Zhuang Xian stood beneath a row of purple sandalwood bookshelves, clad in a white Taoist robe, his five-stranded beard reaching his chest in neat, immortal-like lines. Holding a bundle of jade scrolls resembling bamboo slips, he smiled and said, Li Wei, we meet again. The Cave Void Camp has two Sentinel Lords, both selected by the Sentinel Commander and stationed here in rotation. The Immortal Master from the Calamity Crossing Temple who had presided over the Hidden Dragon Lantern Festival in Chu Prefecture City. Li Wei quickly realized the implications. As early as the end of the Hidden Dragon Lantern Festival, Master Coffin had mentioned knowing Zhuang Xian and vouched for his character. During their journey to Cave Void Camp, Elder Qin had revealed that Master Coffin and the Sentinel Lord were former Sentinel Spirit teammates. While organizing the bookshelves, Zhuang Xian listened attentively to Li Wei's detailed report on their experiences in the Void Ruins Ancient Kingdom, particularly their actions against the Taiyan sect. The returning Xiaoyang Guard members had already submitted their individual reports. After hearing the full account, Zhuang Xian remarked, with the true disciple and half of the Tai Yin envoys fallen, the Xiaoyang division has undoubtedly achieved a major victory. However, trouble will follow. If Cave Void Camp publicly announces the truth, you'll be thrust into the eye of the storm. If we use certain methods, we can slightly dampen the public's fervor. What do you choose? Both Yu Yaozi and Zhuang Xian prioritized safety above all else, hence this question. Li Wei pondered for a moment. There's no need to deliberately publicize it. Let things unfold naturally. Sometimes, the more we try to conceal something, the more our enemies will try to amplify it. Tang Wanzhou said the same thing. Zhuang Xian, with his amiable nature and a state of mind that had transcended the pure true self, to reach the realm of pure naturalness, engaged in a long conversation with Li Wei. He offered words of encouragement and inquired about his cultivation progress. By the way, your master should be returning from the Rotten Marsh Corp Sea in a few months. He was referring, of course, to Master Coffin, who had ventured there to restore his missing limbs. Li Wei's face lit up with joy, and he prepared to take his leave. But then a thought struck him. Senior, I've heard about the catastrophic tragedy that befell the Immortal Haze sect a century ago. I have some questions about it. Would the Sentinel Lord be willing to shed some light on the matter? The Immortal Haze sect's tragedy was a forbidden topic, sealed under a strict gag order. Any mention of it was strictly prohibited. Hearing Li Wei raise the subject, even Zhuang Xian's usually serene composure wavered. His expression turned grave as he asked, "Who told you about this?" "I cannot reveal my source," Li Wei replied. "How many others know?" Zhuang Xian pressed. "Only myself," Li Wei answered, naturally unwilling to expose Nangong. Zhuang Xian seemed to ponder something, pacing back and forth for a long moment before sighing bitterly. "With so many involved back then, I knew the truth couldn't remain buried forever. What do you wish to know?" "I've heard that the entire incident stemmed from the Immortal Haze sect leader, the previous Sentinel Lord of the Cave Void Camp, who was raising great void insects on blazing Absolute Mountain and practicing some ancient, forbidden curse techniques. Moreover, the sect leader's cultivation went awry, and he was possessed by a cursed abomination, transforming into a monster." "Sentinel Lord, did the sect leader die?" Li Wei asked. Blank. End of chapter. Subscribe to the MTL World at Malworld 1 YouTube channel. Novel. The Primordial Law. Volume 6, Battle for the True Inheritance. Chapter 108, 649, Qing Zijin's Mother. 108th of Volume 6. Translator, Shadow Knight AK. Editor, Shadow Knight AK. Zhuang Xian fell into deep thought. Is being devoured by a cursed monster's soul spirit any different from death? Then let me ask another question, Li Wei said. Was that monster killed? Zhuang Xian looked at him with suspicion. Why do you ask? The Grand Palace Master was also tormented by a cursed monster, Li Wei fabricated. This junior is both curious and terrified of such creatures. Moreover, I'm currently the only one residing on blazing Absolute Mountain, which makes me quite apprehensive. That monster fled deep into the Netherworld, Zhuang Xian replied. It was severely wounded but not killed. However, it hasn't resurfaced in a century. You needn't worry so much. Li Wei's heart sank. If that monster hasn't reappeared and the Great Void Worm has been eradicated, how did Qing Zijin's father die? I heard he was also turned into a immortal corpse, meeting the same gruesome fate as the victims from a century ago. He died about 30 years ago, didn't he? It was 31 years ago, Zhuang Xian corrected. After Li Wei mentioned Qing Zijin's father, Zhuang Xian could no longer maintain his serene mental state. The Immortal Haze sect was annihilated, and I was a participant. My hands are stained with the blood of countless innocents, and the anguish in my heart is unspeakable to anyone. Qing Zijin's father, Qing Yu, was the sole survivor of the Immortal Haze sect. I poured all my guilt into him, hoping to atone for my sins and heal my inner wounds. I took him as my disciple and treated him like my own son. I personally arranged his marriage to Yu He. I knew that his willingness to marry meant he had finally emerged from the grief of losing his entire clan, a tremendous blessing. But he eventually learned the truth. He also discovered that Yu He had been the one who informed the Cave Void Camp and the Demon Kingdom all those years ago. A century ago, Yu He was able to detect the danger so quickly because I had brought her to the Immortal Haze sect. Qing Yu couldn't accept any of this. So, in the Heavenly Fire world, he burned himself to death, becoming an immortal corpse, a sacrificial offering. By the time I arrived, it was too late to save him. I tried desperately, but it was futile. Having recounted this, Zhuang Xian seemed to have lost all his strength. The words he had suppressed for a century poured out like an uncontrollable flood before this junior, and he closed his eyes tightly. Li Wei sighed inwardly. Qing Yu's stubbornness likely mirrored Qing Zijin's. Yet he understood. After all, the Sentinel Spirit Army and the Demon Kingdom Forbidden Army had slaughtered mostly innocent people, those untainted by the Great Void Worm. Those innocent people were Qing Yu's father, his siblings, his friends, his fellow disciples. It was a nightmare he had spent 70 years trying to escape. Li Wei sensed a crucial question. Sentinel Lord, how did Qing Yu suddenly learn the truth? Who told him? Too many were involved in the operation. Secrets can't be kept forever. Paper can't contain fire. Zhuang Xian replied. Li Wei walked out of the barracks hall, his mind still reeling. He thought of the woman who sat in the teleportation hall year after year. He never would have imagined she was Qing Zijin's mother. Their mother-daughter relationship must be strained. The Yu clan, she must be royalty from the Demon Kingdom. This explained Qing Zijin's presence in carefree capital, attending banquets with princes and nobles. Her mother must be the reason. Is she guarding the Immortal Haze sect's gate for Qing Yu? Li Wei shook his head slightly and headed toward the merit hall. The higher one's cultivation, the greater their power, and the more terrifying the potential for destruction. A single misstep could endanger billions of lives. Yu Yaozi was proof of this, as was Qing Si, the sect leader of the Immortal Haze sect. At the merit hall, Li Wei claimed his rewards for slaying the Tai Yin envoy and the fallen spirit marquis. As he stepped outside, he saw Elder Qin standing there, his scarred face beaming. Well, young man. I heard you took down several Tai Yin envoys, even killed a true disciple from the Tai Yin sect. Li Wei held his boundary pouch in one hand, rummaging through it with the other. He pulled out a 6,000-year-old essence herb and handed it over. Here, share the spoils. Elder Qin had helped Li Wei countless times. Now that he had made a fortune in the Void Ruins Ancient Kingdom, he naturally wouldn't be stingy. Focus on nurturing your insects for now, Elder Qin said. When you reach the transcendent realm, I won't hold back. You need to work hard. Whether I can attain the other shore realm depends entirely on you. Knowing Elder Qin's deep pockets, accumulated over centuries of wealth, Li Wei returned the essence herb to his boundary pouch. You have come at the right time. I wanted to ask you something. Is Yuhei Shaoling really Qing Zijin's mother? She doesn't seem to resemble her at all. What's this? Getting ideas. Planning to take advantage of a widow. The entire cave void camp is protecting her, don't even think about it, Elder Qin warned, knowing the young man had many female confidants. Li Wei rolled his eyes. I'm serious. This matter is of grave importance. The old man and the youth walked across the plaza together. Elder Qin waddled like an old goose, his expression earnest. You never saw 30 years ago. Her beauty rivaled Qing's. But when someone's heart dies and they stop caring about their appearance, they age rapidly. The old man clearly knew more than he let on, likely having been involved in the events of a century ago. He immediately changed the subject. Tang Wanzhou has returned to the Lingxiao life realm. I was asked to inform you. Why was I asked to specifically tell you this? What's going on with you? You're still betrothed to the Zhuoqiu clan. Don't ignite a war in the Lingxiao life realm because of your actions. Don't worry, I know my limits, Li Wei replied. By the way, Elder Qin, why don't you return to the Zhu Li tribe first and help protect my companions at the Zhu Li Divine Hall? I'll wait for the leader to return to Cave Void Camp and travel back with him. Elder Qin's brow furrowed, afraid of retaliation from the Tai Yin sect. We can't afford to be careless. Also, send a warning to the Zhuoqiu clan. After all, Zhuoqiu haunting is my fiancée copyright and she might be targeted as well, Li Wei said. Don't worry about haunting, Elder Qin assured him, the Sentinel Lord holds a significant position at the Calamity Crossing Temple. He'll have made arrangements. After parting ways with Elder Qin, Li Wei set off alone toward Blazing Absolute Mountain. Blazing Absolute Mountain had once served as the training grounds for new recruits of the Spiritual Master Guard, but after a single decree from the Grand Palace Master, they had all been relocated. The deeper he ventured, the quieter it became. The surroundings were eerily silent, not a soul in sight. Li Wei's earlier claim of being afraid to stay alone on Blazing Absolute Mountain had been a complete fabrication for Zhuangxian's benefit, but now, he genuinely felt a pang of unease. After all, he knew that Qing Si, the sect leader of the Immortal Haze sect, had indeed made contact with Qing Zijin. Whether that old man was a monster remained uncertain. 31 years ago, Qing Zijin's father had suddenly learned the truth and reacted violently, likely due to that old man's influence. Crossing the stone bridge over the stream, Li Wei arrived first at Qing Zijin's residence, Green Robe Garden. He struck the formation's shimmering barrier with his palm. Captain, it's me, Li Wei. And the Qing clan seniors are here for you too. After waiting for a while without a response, he muttered, she's moved out too. Li Wei headed toward the nearby Clear Sound Pavilion, feeling eyes watching him from behind. A chill ran down his spine, and he quickened his pace, hastily retrieving his talismanic seal to activate the formation. Stepping through the shimmering barrier into the Clear Sound Pavilion, Li Wei let out a silent sigh of relief. It's probably not Qing Zijin. He. Or am I just being paranoid? This is the Cave Void Camp, after all. The Sentinel Lord is here. Even if that old man is still alive, he wouldn't dare infiltrate at a time like this. After careful consideration, Li Wei decided to find Qing Zijin and get to the bottom of things. If the sect leader of the Immortal Haze sect was truly alive and had joined the Tai Yin sect, this matter would be of grave importance. He needed to devise a plan to protect her while reporting the situation to the Sentinel Lord. After knocking on the formation barrier of Green Robe Garden, Li Wei went to find Kai Haohan, Yan Zhuo, Chang Yutai, Lu Yi, and the others. Only Lu Yi was at the Cave Void Camp. Since returning, everyone has been busy with closed-door cultivation using the Chun cocoon. I haven't seen them since, Lu Yi said. So she's back. Of course she's back. What's wrong? Do you need help? Lu Yi noticed Li Wei's uneasy expression. Li Wei frowned. He couldn't believe Qing Zijin would return to the Cave Void Camp without staying at Green Robe Garden. If she were staying there was no reason for her to avoid him. Go check the camp's departure records. See if she's left the camp. Li Wei sighed inwardly, deeply worried that she was heading down a dark path. If her identity were exposed, she might join the Tai Yin sect outright. Alright. Lu Yi activated her movement technique and sped away. Li Wei headed straight to the teleportation hall. After a moment's hesitation, he approached the woman in palace robes seated at the desk and bowed respectfully. Was Yu Shaoling spying on me from the shadows just now? He didn't deny it, replying coldly, you're indeed remarkable, with such keen senses. Even with my cultivation level, you managed to detect me. Li Wei said, I'm here for Qing Zijin. I know, he said. Li Wei pressed, where is she? I have something urgent to discuss with her. I must see her immediately. He glanced at him. She had already searched Li Weiyi's boundary pouch and found numerous immortal corpses of Qing clan members, confirming his close relationship with Qing Zijin. After returning, she entered seclusion in the Green Robe Garden for cultivation, Yuhi said. Li Weiyi shook his head. Impossible. If she were there, she would have activated the formation. What makes you so certain? Yuhi asked. Yuhi clearly remained unaware of Qing Zijin's secret, and that Li Weiyi had already uncovered it, leaving her in grave danger. Lu Yi rushed in. No records of her leaving the camp. Senior Yu, if she has another residence, you must tell me immediately. She's in grave danger. We need to find her now. A location flashed through Li Weiyi's mind. With a flicker of movement, he vanished from the teleportation hall. Only Lu Yi, bewildered, remained, along with Yu He, who suddenly stood up. Li Weiyi ascended to the summit of blazing Absolute Mountain, venturing to the rear slopes near the Nether Realm of the Dead. There, at the foot of the mountain, he arrived at the entrance of a cave dwelling. Inside lay the Sea of Coffins, where the immortal corpses of the Immortal Haze sect were stored. To the right of the entrance, a disheveled figure sat cross-legged, covered in dust. Li Weiyi approached, extended a finger, and touched the back of the figure's hand, channeling spiritual qi into it. After a moment, he withdrew his finger. So it's just a corpse. She really fooled me last time. Li Weiyi's expression suddenly sharpened as he recognized the identity of the corpse guarding the cave dwelling. He immediately bowed in reverence. Just then, Yuhi appeared. Together, they entered the cave dwelling, unleashing threads of psychic power to search every corner of the Sea of Coffins. Emerging from the cave dwelling, Yuhi demanded coldly, what exactly happened? After careful consideration, Li Weiyi recounted the events of the Void Ruins ancient kingdom in detail. How could this be? She concealed so much from me. After hearing the full account, Yuhi's face turned pale. She quickened her pace up the mountain, stopping only when she reached the summit. Turning around, she said, Li Weiyi, don't tell anyone about this. We can forgive her and give her a chance to redeem herself, but others won't. The Tai Yin sect will exploit this to manipulate her. I'll handle it. If Senior can resolve this, that would be ideal. My greatest fear is that the Tai Yin sect will cling to her status as a Tai Yin envoy, leaving her with nowhere to turn in the world. Li Weiyi sighed softly, his gaze suddenly shifting from Yuhi to the entrance of the fire abyss above her head. As if struck by lightning on a clear day, his entire body jolted violently. Impossible. Right. With a whoosh, Li Weiyi transformed into a streak of light and shot toward the fire abyss entrance. Heavens, please stop tormenting me. After learning the truth from Li Weiyi and witnessing his desperate flight toward the fire abyss, Yuhi's mind reeled. Memories of Qing Yu's tragic fate flooded back, pushing her to the brink of collapse. She immediately followed him into the fire abyss. Blank. End of chapter. Subscribe to the MTL World at Malworld 1 YouTube channel. Novel. The Primordial Law. Volume 6. Battle for the True Inheritance. Chapter 109, 650 Qing Zijin, My Heart Yearns for You. 109th of Volume 6. Translator. Shadow Knight AK. Editor. Shadow Knight AK. At the summit of blazing Absolute Mountain, a scarlet spatial rift stretched hundreds of meters long. Within, the heavenly fire burned eternally, radiating in all directions without end, a terrifying sight. Deeper into the rift, the flames grew increasingly dark red, almost black. Compared to his first cultivation session in the heavenly fire world during his Dao Seed Realm days, when the unbearable heat had forced him to activate the defensive powers of his governor's robe, Li Weiyi now possessed a body strengthened by breaking two immortal shackles. Even exposed directly to the heavenly fire, he could withstand it as easily as soaking in a hot spring. Li Weiyi and Yuhi split up to search. Li Weiyi flew along the formation jade stone platforms crafted by seniors from the Cave Void camp, releasing all 7 phoenix-winged moth emperors and activating his heavenly eye between his brows, calling out loudly. After flying over 10 miles, the intensity of the heavenly fire gradually increased, and Li Weiyi summoned protective spiritual qi around himself. He continued his search deeper into the rift. Boss Li, I've found something. Fourth Phoenix shouted. Her eyes glowed like 2 balls of thunder and lightning, a natural ability that allowed her to see great distances. From afar, Li Weiyi spotted a long-haired figure floating in the void of heavenly fire, no larger than a matchstick, drifting like a creature in a scarlet sea. His heart sank, and he rushed toward her with trepidation. If she returned to Cave Void camp, she would have entered the heavenly fire world. That would mean more than a month had already passed. As he drew closer, Li Weiyi saw her shriveled body and face, her skin utterly devoid of luster and moisture, like wax, while her body resembled withered wood. Words failed him to describe the emotions that surged through him. He embraced her, activating the defensive power of his governor's robe to shield them from the heavenly fire, and immediately hurried toward the exit of the heavenly fire world. She's so light. Li Weiyi's gaze remained fixed ahead as he carefully pressed his palm against her chest, probing for any sign of life. Severe dehydration. Both her physical body and soul spirit were damaged. He retrieved life-preserving herb and vitality herb, plucked a leaf from each, dissolved them in spirit spring water, and gently fed her small sips. He dared not administer too much at once. Upon reaching the heavenly fire world exit, Yuhi arrived, having heard the news. Together, they burst through the portal and landed atop blazing Absolute Mountain. Li Wei cradled Qing Zijin in his arms, sitting on the ground and repeatedly feeding her small sips of medicinal spring water. He pressed his palm against her chest again, but her heartbeat remained as faint as a candle flame flickering in the wind, so fragile it seemed it could extinguish at any moment. Yuhi's expression was a mix of tears and laughter, unable to speak, bordering on madness. Whoosh! Xuanhuan, having received Yuhi's urgent message, descended from the sky and landed before the three of them. His face paled drastically when he saw Qing Zijin's withered appearance on the ground. He immediately released liquid qi to protect her heart meridian. Tears streamed down the old man's face as memories flooded back, 31 years ago, and the bloody storms of a century past. He raised his head and cried out in anguish, "Why, heavens! What must we endure to find peace? 100 years, and still you demand everyone's death before you'll be satisfied." Xuanhuan lifted Qing Zijin into his arms, preparing to leave and seek medical aid. Li Wei's gaze turned solemn. "Sentinel Lord, can we keep this a secret for now? Don't let anyone know." Xuanhuan and Yuhi exchanged puzzled glances. Letting her die like this might be for the best. It could be the golden cicada shedding its shell. Li Wei said, suppressing his emotions and swiftly regaining his composure. As expected of Yuhi, a top expert among sentinel spirits, she immediately understood Li Wei's intentions. "Let's save her first." Li Wei instructed Lu Yi to mobilize everyone to search for Qing Zijin. Then, using spatial teleportation, he rushed to the Holy Hall's life realm to seek the life spring from Yu Yaozi and to the Void Ruins ancient clan to request the life-preserving herb from Nangong Shang. 3 days later. In the Sea of Coffins within the back mountain cave abode, Li Wei selected a immortal corpse resembling Qing Zijin and dressed it in her spiritual artifact martial garment. He then carried the corpse out of the fire abyss, wailing with heart-wrenching grief. Lu Yi and the group of sentinels and sentinel spirits searching for Qing Zijin arrived at the summit of blazing Absolute Mountain and witnessed this scene. "Li Wei, what's going on? Don't tell me that's Qing Zijin." Lu Yi had been searching for 3 days and was already mentally prepared for the worst. Li Wei cradled the corpse's head, looked up with tear-filled eyes, and sobbed, "It's all my fault. My fault. I have a fianca copyright E. I shouldn't have grown so close to her. After leaving the Void Ruins ancient kingdom, I had to face reality." As he spoke, Li Wei retrieved a jade pendant from Qing Zijin's robes and handed it to Lu Yi. 2 lines of text were etched into the pendant with a fingernail. Lu Yi read the first line aloud, "Qing Zijin, my heart yearns for you. For your sake alone, I've pondered this until now. I wrote that for her," Li Wei said. Lu Yi read the second line, "Bright as the moon, yet beyond reach. Sorrow rises within me, never to cease. She must have carved this with her fingernail just before she died, specifically for me. She wanted me to never forget her, the cruel woman. Why was she so stubborn? Zijin, open your eyes. Open your eyes, and I'll go to the Zhuoqiu sect and break off the engagement." Li Wei cried out in anguish. A cold glint flashed in Lu Yi's eyes as she clenched her fists. "Li Wei, what exactly did you do in the Void Ruins ancient kingdom? Was your argument in the Nether domain after leaving the kingdom about this?" "I had no choice," Li Wei replied, nodding. "You're a bastard. If you can't give someone a future, keep your distance. I don't want a friend like you." Lu Yi suppressed the urge to rush over and beat Li Wei, severing ties with him instead, her heart twisting with pain. In her eyes, Li Wei had inevitably abandoned Qing Zijin after seducing her. Otherwise, why would Qing Zijin have resorted to such extreme measures? "Lu Yi, Yeji, I never imagined she'd be so extreme. It's not my fault. Hear me out," Li Wei shouted. The other sentinel spirits and sentinels glared coldly at Li Wei, some muttering insults under their breath, others spitting on the ground in disgust. Standing at a distance, Yuhi frowned. If she hadn't known the truth, she would have already intervened, even suspecting that Li Wei might have driven Qing Zijin to suicide. But now, she had to play along with Li Wei's act. Firstly, to stage Qing Zijin's death, and allow her to shed her shell like a golden cicada. Secondly, to conceal the truth from Qing Si, preventing him from learning that the cave void camp already knew his secret of survival. Therefore, Qing Zijin's death needed a plausible explanation. Thirdly, if the truth couldn't be completely hidden, they had to steer Qing Si's suspicions toward the real reasons for Qing Zijin's death, rather than letting him doubt whether she was truly dead. After a dramatic display of grief, Yuhi snatched Qing Zijin's corpse from Li Wei's hands and stormed away. Xuanhuan appeared and escorted Li Wei away, fearing the Sentinel Spirit Elders might harm him, especially Qing Si's former loyal subordinates. The Sentinel Lord's courtyard was isolated from the outside world by a powerful formation. It featured artificial mountains and lakes, rare essence medicines cultivated in abundance, and a tranquil atmosphere filled with birdsong and floral fragrance. Li Wei entered the room and glanced at the bed draped with white curtains. Don't come any closer. I look hideous. Having consumed the life spring and spring of life, Qing Zijin had regained consciousness under Xuanhuan's care. As if I haven't seen you like this before, Li Wei retorted, settling into a chair and pouring himself a cup of spring water. Your little stunt has cost me the most. Not only is my reputation ruined, but I've also likely earned the enmity of the previous Sentinel Lord's subordinates. I told you to wait for me to return so I could handle things, but you had to act on your own. A long silence hung in the air before she murmured, I'm sorry. I'll settle accounts with you once you've fully recovered, Li Wei said. Don't worry about those Sentinel Spirit Elders. I'll personally warn them. Xuanhuan and Yuhi entered together, the former with a faint smile, the latter with a grim expression. Sentinel Lord, an open attack is easy to dodge, but a hidden arrow is hard to guard against, Li Wei sighed, his face etched with worry. This display of concern was, of course, only half genuine. Xuanhuan retrieved a talisman from his sleeve. This is a top-grade spiritual talisman. Carry it with you, and it will automatically generate a protective barrier against any hidden attacks. It can even withstand a strike from a 7th Immortal Realm martial mystic cultivator. Against attacks from other great immortal cultivators, it can block multiple strikes before its spiritual power is depleted. Automatic defense. Li Wei exclaimed, quickly accepting the talisman. This was a priceless treasure from the Immortal Realm, exceedingly rare and requiring the most demanding materials for talisman refinement. It could only have been crafted by a holy spiritual king. Most protective talismans require activation with spiritual qi, but enemies rarely give you the chance to activate them. After another session of healing Qing Zijin's soul spirit, Li Wei followed Xuanhuan to the lakeside. Few will believe she immolated herself out of love, Xuanhuan remarked. Exactly, Li Wei replied, this will draw out those investigating the truth, especially Qing Si's loyalists hidden within the cave void camp. When Qing Zijin awoke, she had already revealed everything. This included the secret that her father had met Qing Si 31 years ago. However, Qing Si had told her a different version of events. Qing Si claimed that a century ago, he had never been devoured by the ancestor worm of the Great Void Insect. He possessed the ability to resolve the Great Void Insect crisis, but the Sentinel Spirit Army and the Demon Kingdom had refused to consult him, instead launching a brutal massacre and leaving him critically wounded, barely escaping with his life. Revenge was necessary, revenge for the fallen of the Immortal Haze sect. His father had chosen self-immolation because he believed the slaughter could have been avoided, but his own wife had caused countless deaths. Qing Zijin chose to speak out because Li Wei had told her, someone who truly cares for you, who loves you, wouldn't drag you into the abyss of hatred or put you in danger. As the former Sentinel Lord of the Cave Void Camp, how could he not have his own loyal followers? Those Sentinel Spirit Elders are stronger and more cunning than you. Why would he involve you? He's being selfish. Who you should trust is obvious. Xuanhuan's expression grew grave. If he returned over 30 years ago, it's possible he has already subdued many Sentinel Spirit Elders within the Cave Void Camp. A century ago, he truly transformed into a monster, his body half corporeal, half ethereal, revealing bones and sprouting phantom insect wings. His mouth emitted insect-like chirps, and he was ferociously violent, having killed transcendents and drained their souls and essence. Li Wei countered, could it be that the soul-burning heavenly fire you unleashed, while severely injuring him, also wounded the great void insect's ancestor worm? Perhaps this misfortune became a blessing in disguise, allowing him to subdue it and cultivate curse technique. Powerful individuals are often arrogant, refusing to admit they once became monsters. Perhaps he genuinely believes he can solve the great void insect crisis and truly harbors deep hatred for you all. Xuanhuan stopped walking, a painful realization dawning on him. If we had known back then that Qing Si retained his consciousness, that he hadn't been completely devoured by the great void insect, and had chosen to fully assist him in refining the ancestor worm, would the outcome have been entirely different? Of course, that hinges on whether Qing Zijin truly saw Qing Si, not the ancestor worm itself. This is a matter of grave importance, Xuanhuan said, I will immediately report it to the Sentinel Commander. You're just a child, don't meddle in this or waste your time speculating. Blank. End of chapter. Subscribe to the MTL World at Malworld 1 YouTube channel.